Hello, welcome to Move Fast Lifting Podcast, Move Fast Lift Heavy Podcast. We're 5 episodes in on a Thursday. It is 2 o'clock here in Miami. We've had some great guests on the episodes so far, and we have another great guest coming at you in just a second. I'm Joe Roscoe, again, co-host of Move Fast Podcast. We'll be bringing on the man here in just a second, Christian Harris, founder of Move Fast Lift Heavy. If you haven't checked us out yet on the website, you can do so, movefastliftheavy.com. All things training, all things apparel. All right, let's bring him on. He's had a snack. Again, we're in the 5th episode today. Hopefully he's not a grumpy bear. He is kind of big and strong. I don't know how I would fare in a fight against him, but this is virtually. He's all the way up in New York where it's freezing with snow, and I'm here in Miami, and it's beautiful and it's warm. So tough on your ass. Bring him out, Christian Harris. Let's go. How's that cold up there, CH? How is it?
It's cold. It's 17, but I'm just out here eating snacks, and they say you are what you eat. So I'm out here looking like a snack, I guess.
Oh, I don't know about that, man. I don't know. That's not what the ladies in Miami were saying. Ladies in Miami, they just kept walking right by you. They were trying to hit up our guest. You know, our guest was taking up all the ladies from us. Oh, because you have no interest in that as a married man. But our guest, though, you know, he might have something to do with that, you know.
Yeah, so our next guest, very talented young man. I first got the opportunity to chat with him about 3 years ago now. This was after or during the weekend of the MAC competition. This is when it was just a sanctional. This is when they were offering up game spots. And I was very impressed with his performance over the weekend and chatted with him after the competition, and was also impressed with how mature he was for such a young athlete, and kind of that's where the relationship started, and he's one of our MFLH ambassadors. I'd like to bring to the show Matt Dlugos.
Let's go,
What's
Matt
happening?
Dlugos!
Woo! Oh yeah, I love that.
What up, bro?
Not much, man. How you doing?
You know, just trying to stay warm up out here. Got crumbs all over me right now.
You totally stole my line there. I thought you were just going to leave it at like you were eating snacks and trying to stay warm. I was going to say I'm trying to stay warm and look like a snack, but okay.
So it's Thursday. What do you have going on for today? Is it International Active Rest Day like everyone else, or what do you got going on?
It is. It's International Active Rest. Woke up, got some swimming done early this morning, and then just hanging out, talking to you guys, talking to some cool people, and probably just going to play with my dog later today. That's about it.
Your dog?
My dog. Where is he? He's over there passed out because we played a little hard this morning. But.
Okay. What kind of distance is you doing this time on the swim?
We're doing some hundreds and 50s. Just trying to get more comfortable with it, man. Like, I don't know. I just feel like swimming's such a – actually, I was talking to James after Wodapalooza, and he suggested that I get with like a triathlon group or like get some swimming lessons or something. So I'm probably going to try to look into that. So like hitting a swim session where we're just getting, you know, close to like 2,000 meters of repeats. And then I want to try to get somebody to look at my swimming and break it down and try to help me out and see what I can do better.
Yeah, I think you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck if you pursue that route. You know, it's like anything else. Like if you were snatching with poor technique, you're only going to get so far. If you're swimming with poor technique, it's only going to carry you so far, right? So if you're able to sit down and have a coach analyze how you are, moving in the water. It's only going to help you that much more. So.
And it seems like that's the theme of swimming is like, if you can do it more efficient, you're going to be such a better swimmer. It's not like something where you can muscle your way through.
Yeah, I mean, they say the better your technique, you'll get to that point where it feels like it's effortless. Personally, not quite there yet. Don't really know what that feels like. Can't relate, but that's what they say. That's word on the streets.
Maybe one day. Yeah.
So
we're coming off hot at Wodapalooza, Christian. We got to see Matt do his thing with the boys, Con and James. Matt, how hype was it to be in Miami, to do as well as y'all did? Like, how did that fare in comparison to previous competitions? Tell us about your experience down here in Miami.
Man, it was so different than any other competition I've done. It's you guys can attest to it. It's not like a team environment where there's 2 males and 2 females, or 3 males, 3 females, whatever. It's not like an individual competition where there's a lot of pressure on you. I think I put some pressure on myself coming into it, knowing the level that James and Con are at and the fact that they're legends in the sport. I was really nervous going into it. But once we got that first event out of the way, or really once we got our first training session out of the way, I was like, yeah, this will be fun. Like, we're just going to throw down. I'm going to try to take as much from these guys as I can and from the experience of Wodapalooza as I can. And I felt like I did that. So I'm really happy. Obviously, I probably haven't stopped smiling since I got back from it. I feel like a giddy little middle school girl, but I loved it. I just had a freaking blast.
Ended up coming together. How did you all get paired up?
Yeah, so Con knows Justin from like back in the grid league, and just they have a long history together.
The good old grid days.
Yeah. I wish I knew more about that. I didn't know like Allie, like Allie knew them from there, and like Ryan Elrod, like they're also connected through grid.
Yeah. You would have had a ball with that, man.
Dude, maybe we can bring it back. They still do it somewhere, right?
In Florida, yeah.
Yeah, Florida Grid League, yeah.
That's crazy. But so anyways, Justin knew Con, and I believe Con reached out asking for a couple other people. I think he was asking maybe about Tola or the potential of Ricky joining their team. And so I kind of fell back in the batting order there, but Justin was like, hey, is this something you would want to do? I was like kind of on the fence about it, and he brought it up again and was like, the second time it was like, hey, I think you should go do this. And so I was like, all right, booked my stuff on Saturday night, like my plane ticket and all that stuff. And yeah, that was literally the only preparation that I had for it.
So a couple days, not too shabby.
Easy, a couple days. That's all you need.
Light work.
Yeah, something light.
It
was great.
When you came to Miami, did you have a chip on your shoulder? They're like, hey, is Tola free? Or, they weren't be like, hey, we want Matt Dlugos. Were you showing up saying like, yo, I'm gonna show these mofos that, they should have been asking for me?
No, not at all. That's like 100% not my character. No, honestly, seriously, I went into it nervous as can be. Like, I went in like, what if I can't do something? What if these guys are like yelling at me, disappointed? Like, what if I, can't do this workout? Or what if I suck in the water, which I did end up sucking at swimming. But yeah, I was really nervous. I put a lot of pressure on myself.
I mean, hang on a sec. Everybody sucks in the water compared to those two, so I wouldn't feel too bad.
Dude, but I've never swam in a competition, and we got off the rower, like, I felt like we got into the water pretty far ahead, and then it was just like 30 people past me in the 200 meters. It's like, oh gosh. But those boys are really, really quick. And like I said, I tried to put, or I didn't try to, but I ended up putting a lot of pressure on myself to perform. And once we got the first training session in, I felt my confidence rise a little bit. And then we finished that first day with like a 3rd place and a 2nd place finish. And from there, the spirits were just so high and the boys were like really, really hyped up that it was easy to just, I guess, like continue with how we were doing. So.
Awesome, man. So what do you have going on, and like, what are your goals for this season?
I mean, the goal is the top. Like, it's never not going to be. I feel like I've, each year that I've gone through this journey, I'm learning a little bit different, whether it's training techniques or recovery or whatever, but I feel like this past year has been the most influential as my athletic career, just because I've been working a lot on my mind and a lot on the things that go on between my ears, through competition weekends, through training weeks, like just everything really.
And how old are you?
24.
Baby.
So I know. But like, you guys know the stable of athletes that we have out here and the resources that we have, being able to talk to Carrie Pierce whenever I go do monostructural or have Justin with me every day. Like, that stuff is leaps and bounds beyond, what other places can provide, or just like, doing it on your own. So yeah, this year, the goal is the top, the goal is to make it to the games. And I think once I get there, a lot of things will be lifted, and I feel like I'll be able to just have some fun. And I'm going to try to do that up until I make it there. Hopefully it's this year. And if not, I'm trying to understand that it's a long road, right? Like, there's a lot of opportunities that'll go down, and there's a lot of things I can learn even if I don't make it this year. So just going to go in, have some fun, kick ass, take some names, and yeah.
Awesome.
Laugh, Christian, because I feel like when we ask people what their plans are for the season, it's like when you're on that date and they're like, so what's your 5-year plan? And you're like, I don't know, crush it. Like, that's my 5-year plan. What do you plan on doing this season? Effing going to the games? That's what I plan on doing, for sure.
So when did you get into CrossFit? At what age? And just like kind of take us through the journey that you've had up into the point that you're at now.
Yeah. So I'm very thankful for my mother, because she was the one who got me into CrossFit. She had been doing it for probably 3 or 4 years before I finally bit and took my first class. And it's the classic story of like, after that first workout, you're laying on the floor and you're like, I got to come back. I got to do this again. So whenever I first got into college, so 6 years ago is when I started CrossFit. I did it at first as just like a way to get fit and a way to stay healthy. I was done with basketball. I was done, running track and all those high school things. And I didn't really have an outlet to exercise. So my mom had been trying to get me to do it for a while, finally decided to. Did it for a couple of years just to stay fit. And then I was lucky enough to have a team going to regionals out of our gym. So in 2018 and 2019, I believe it is. Whenever we went, so I went there on a 6-man team, and then I went there on a 4-man team. And then after that, they obviously stopped with regionals. So I started trying to find different competitions that I could do individually, because I realized like I really liked exercising. I liked the competitive nature of CrossFit, and I thought that my potential, was just going to continue to jump forward and forward. And I still feel that way. I still feel like I have a lot of potential left, but I got into doing some competitions like the International Functional Fitness World Championships, which was in London, which is where I first met Justin. So full circle kind of things where, I met this guy across the world. We bonded and connected. And now, 3 years later, I'm out here going over to his house for dinner and, just having him be such an influential model and role model in my life. So that kind of stuff is crazy to me. But yeah, so I started started competing on the teams, realized I wanted to do it individually. And then I was just, I trained for the MAC, and I was training for a couple of other competitions just here and there, and started working with Justin 2 years ago. Whenever he was training Carrie for the stage 2 of the games in 2020, I came out to train with the girls, heard that they were all moving here. Justin kind of planted the seed. And then I got back on the plane that Monday morning, and I was like, yep, I'm going to move out here. I'm going to do it. Just fully jump in and see where it takes me. And here we are. Now we got to travel to Miami. We got to, compete at the West Coast Classic, and hopefully a ton of other opportunities come from it. So
how was your experience at the West Coast Classic? What were some takeaways that you had, overall experience in general?
Yeah, so that's where I really started to realize that I was an immature athlete, like mentally. I felt so good going into it physically. Like I still feel like my skills and my fitness levels at that point were enough to take me to the games, but I was missing that mental piece. I was missing the mental fortitude and the mental toughness. It kind of goes back to that saying, everybody's got the plan until they get punched in the mouth. And that's exactly what happened. I got punched in the mouth on the first workout and just kind of lost my cool. And looking back on it, I'm not happy with how I handled that weekend, but I do think when I look back in a couple of years, that this is going to be a pivotal moment where that started to change the course of how I approach things, how I mentally prepared for competitions and just for training and life in general. And so I'm really, really grateful for it. But
was the snatch workout the first one, or was it the okay?
Yep. So I came out hot as can be. Ripped through the 85 and the 205. Yeah. I got to 225, and I think I hit one or two, and then I missed the third. And I started panicking. I could feel everything in my body. I felt I felt heavy. I felt my muscles getting really tight. I felt like my breathing was getting shallow, and it felt like a panic. And really just from that point on, it was I was going into workouts scared instead of confident. And looking back on it, I should have been really confident. I crushed those workouts in training. A lot of them, some of them were really in my wheelhouse. Some of them were still really good workouts for me. But because I approached them scared and timid, I think that was really the start of the downfall.
Gotcha. Now, what kind of mental exercises or mental training have you done to help yourself to overcome that?
Yeah. Just the David Goggins, I just go grab some logs and run for hours. No, I'm just kidding. No, it sounds weird, but just being more in tune with my thoughts and my feelings and my emotions. So doing some things like journaling, sitting in those emotions when they come up, especially in workouts, if I feel angry or disappointed or let down or scared, I'll just kind of embrace those and figure out why that's the case and try to work through them. A lot of the reflection has been really helpful too. And then having somebody to chat through those things with, so talking to Carrie Pierce has been so influential to me because I'm able to talk to her truly about how I'm feeling and just, I don't feel like I have to hide anything or say anything differently to her. And then she's able to come at it because she's just her mind is an iron trap. It's unbreakable. And so to hear what she has to say and, to hear her either validate some of those things or be like, here, next time you do that, think about it this way. Or, next time you get scared in a workout, just try this, try taking an extra breath or try to focus on, this movement instead of this thing. And it's little things like that. But yeah, just being more aware. And then, I don't know, putting myself in more situations that are uncomfortable, sitting in a sauna for 45, 60 minutes, that can start to get a little uncomfortable. You're sitting there with your thoughts by yourself, or sitting in an ice bath or whatever, just making the hard choices. When I look at them, they're not actually hard choices. They're hard in the moment, but once you go through them, you realize how how insignificant they are. And so trying to apply that to training too, right? Like knowing that a workout's going to be a 6-minute workout, like, it's going to hurt. You can make it hurt even more. And 10 minutes after, you're going to be fine. So just go to that place.
Yeah, I like it.
Daily with Justin and those other athletes around, how do you manage not always being in that compete mode? When you're around such talent, or you're around a coach that might be as intense as a guy like Justin, how do you last day in and day out, in a way that's healthy for you, again, mentally?
For sure. At first, it was really tough. Whenever I came in, dude, I was getting beat by like 5 minutes on workouts. Like these girls would be like completely recovered, change their shoes, get a protein shake, and I'd still be finishing. So at first it was really, really difficult. You start to rise to that level a little bit more and more. I realized some workouts where I can crush it and stay with them. But then even just the push on workouts that I know aren't in my wheelhouse, I'm able to stay, I'm trying every day to stay as close as I can to them. And then something that Justin and I try to instill through every training session is that there's no losses. It's always learning. There's no bad training day. Even if it crushes me, even if it's the hardest session that I've ever gone through, and I get waxed on a workout, it's like he'll come up to me afterwards or we'll text afterwards and be like, all right, what can we do better? Like, what can we take from this? What can we apply for next session? And, and that's something, again, that I'm learning from Carrie too. Like she's got the shortest memory whenever it comes to workouts, which is amazing. Doesn't matter if she's smoking it or getting smoked on the workout. Like she's able to like leave those in the past. And so doing that with training has been really helpful, like going, if it's a tough Metcon, cool, you finish it, you leave it, but then we've got other work to do. So put it in the past, feel sorry for yourself for a second, and then let's get right back to work.
Matt, I got a question for you.
What's up?
What's the happiest animal on the planet?
And the happiest animal? Isn't it that one like capybara? Like the Australian little, you know what I'm talking about?
It's a goldfish. It's got a 5-second memory.
Oh shit! There we go. You learn something new every day. Yeah, I'll try to be.
I don't know if that's true, but it's a quote from Ted Lasso.
I love it.
Quote from Ted Lasso, but Christian also has that phrase tattooed at the bottom of his back: "Be a goldfish."
Love it. Love it.
Like, script font. There's a little goldfish at the top of it.
Right, like blowing bubbles,
right at the crest.
Oh,
at the crest, right, just right above his ass. When you're out at a bar and you see a certain someone and they got that tattoo in that certain location, that's Christian's. It says, "Be a goldfish."
That's Christian's. Wow,
be a goldfish.
That's amazing.
Oh shit!
Teed up for you.
Teed it up. So with you being out in Vegas, right, you make this transition, you're with people like Carrie, you're with people like Justin. When do you think, or maybe it's already starting, like, and in your pursuit of the games, your mindset shift of like, I belong, or I'm on that level? How have you come to terms with that? Or like what has been a pivotal point in that process?
Yeah. For me, I've been really lucky to have Justin in my corner because the circumstances whenever we first started, like, weren't great, right? Like they weren't what they are now, to where he's a full-time, individual coach or games level coach. Whenever I approached him, he was just working with Carrie. And I sent him a text message, and I kind of remember pretty well what I said. And I was like, hey, asking for a friend, would you be interested in coaching a tall male athlete who's just getting into CrossFit? And he was like, normally no, but if it's you, then yes. And so just that little bit of like knowing that I'm out here, like if he didn't see any potential in me, I wouldn't be out here. I wouldn't be training the way that I'm training. I wouldn't be doing the things that I'm doing. So keeping that in the back of my mind has always been, a positive for me. And then this isn't like, I don't want to say this and be arrogant or try to be boastful or anything with it, but hearing the ladies that we have out here say like, you were fit enough to qualify for the games. I thought you were going to qualify for the games. Like you have it, you're there, you're just waiting on that breakthrough. I don't love to use external factors to kind of help me with that, but like hearing them say that, and then, going to a West Coast Classic and like, just even like gauging myself on the workouts where like some of them where I did well, some of them where I didn't do well, being there and being able to tell yourself like, yeah, like look at what you did through quarterfinals. Like look at what you did at semifinals. Look at what, look at these numbers that you're putting up. Look at, the times that you're putting down. Like, so it's hard to get, because like obviously I haven't made it there yet, right? So it's hard for me to just sit here and be like, yeah, I belong, right? Because like I need to prove it. I need to put in the work and actually do it. But to know that there are people that believe in me, that does definitely help me believe in myself a little bit more and more. And so just using weekends like Wodapalooza to kind of like shoot my confidence up, and be able to ride that into the quarterfinals and semifinals, I think that's going to be super helpful for me.
Or before you put Matt on the hot seat, you got a question before the hot seat, or do you want me to tee up my question right now?
The hot seat, what?
Tee up yours.
My last question for you before Christian maybe asks you one more, and then the hot seat better be, get your palms nice and sweaty. It's hot
already.
Have you, maybe it was Con, maybe it was James, beside someone outside of your training grounds, have you been at a competition where you're rubbing shoulders with other athletes in the men's division and you're like, that guy's an animal, or that guy's a boss, not just like because he's a good athlete, but there's something about them and the way they prepare in the warm-up area, or the way that they carry themselves on the competition floor. You being 24, you're still probably like going into your mantra, if you will, as an athlete. Has anyone stuck out to you so far that you've rubbed shoulders with in that regard?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Yeah, it's really interesting. I could definitely give two examples. James, for sure. I spent a lot of time with James over the weekend or the week, and hearing his journey to get to the games is something that I resonated really well with. He was the type that, locked himself away for a couple years, like didn't have a drink for 5 years. He was all about the work, all about just grinding and just putting in the time. And that's something that I really try to embrace. But then his like overall demeanor, like he's just a very laid back person. He's very chill, and things aren't always as serious as they need to be. And that's something, again, I'm working on learning. So James, for sure, like I said, I really connected with him there. And then the other person that sticks out to me and has now stuck out twice is Noah Olson. Between West Coast Classic, we didn't know each other. It was the first time I met him, was at West Coast Classic, and he was really nice. And then down at Wodapalooza, it was just the whole experience, the vibe of that warm-up area, and just the whole weekend is a little different. And I felt like I was able to kind of connect with him a little bit more. We chatted about some stuff, and just I love how happy he is, and he just radiates that energy, that positive energy out there. And that's something I want to be known for. Like I feel like I'm a pretty positive person. I'm pretty go with the flow, but I don't understand why people can't just be happy all the time. So seeing Noah and seeing how he interacts with his teammates, with his like coaches or other competitors or the judging and all that different stuff, that was a really cool thing to see, like a guy at his level still doing those, those really important things of saying thank you, giving fist bumps, smiling, all that kind of stuff, towards others, and towards the people that deserve the thanks and recognition, as well as like the other competitors that he's with, right? Like there's no beef. He's never like staring you up and down. He's coming up, he's making jokes, he's doing his thing, but also having a good time with it. That was really cool.
Oh yeah. I've got one last little thing. If you could give any advice to any of any younger athletes out there that are looking to get serious about the sport, or if they're already in it and they want to try to take things to the next level, do you have any advice for those younger athletes that are kind of on the cusp of on the come up?
Yeah. I mean, I am still on the come up. I definitely still try to do this stuff myself, but being yourself, having fun, it's not that serious. Like, working out's awesome, but if that's your identity, I think maybe you should look deep into yourself and figure out those things that also make you happy outside of the gym. But then another thing I really try to do is just like, dude, just work hard. Like, it's really all it takes. Like, if a guy who's 6'4", I'm not built for much in this sport, maybe rowing and wall balls. I just try to work as hard as I can every single day. Like, no off days, no time to take a break, no time to lean off the pedal. So, yeah, have fun, but work really hard, and you can do it. Like, I'm trying to prove that anybody can do it. And so, like I said, if I can do it, you guys out there definitely can. But
yeah, I like that. The first thing you said about not taking it too serious, that is my exact reasoning for wearing two different shoes. So when people ask me, what's up with the two different shoes or the whatever, the mismatch, it's exactly that. It's like not to take anything too seriously, like it's just working out, folks.
Exactly. It bugs me whenever I, hear different athletes or just hear people get down on a workout. It's like, yeah, it's okay to be down, but like, come on, man. Like, you're a good person. You're a good dude. I'm sure maybe you've got work. You've got other things that people care about. And like, I think about it within my circle, right? Like, my parents and my friends, they're still going to care about me and love me if I snatch 255 or if I snatch 315. Like, it does not matter. And so learning that and being able to just like go in and have a blast, I feel like that's when the best training happens too. Like, when you're just you don't put that pressure on yourself, some special things definitely happen.
100%.
A good one.
I didn't hear what he just said, but we're going to go on the hot seat.
Sorry if I cut out.
I didn't hear that one either.
I said later, guys. Have a good time.
All right, so a couple of quick questions. First thing that comes to mind. Let's do it.
I'm asking you. You're asking me.
No, I'm asking you. Something tells me though I know the answer to some of these.
All right, let's see.
Would you rather move fast or lift heavy?
I actually move fast.
Coffee.
Did you think I was going to say lift heavy?
I thought you were going to say lift heavy.
I like lifting heavy, but dude, there's something good. Something feels good about moving fast.
Yeah. Coffee or pre-workout?
Coffee.
Current favorite sneaker?
Oh, that's a great question. Oh man, I just customized a nice pair of Nike Metcons that I'm excited to pull out. I want to become a sneakerhead though. Like, I want to start to get into collecting some sneakers. So if you got any tips or anything that I should like the baseline to get into it, just let me know.
It depends on if you're a Nike guy or Adidas, or I mean, you could dabble in everything, but
you're more like Jordan, Nike.
Yeah, and Yeezy. I've kind of stayed away from Jordans recently.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean some benchmarks. I would say get yourself a pair of Dunks, a pair of Jordans, maybe a pair of Yeezys. I'd start with those three.
I'm gonna write these down real fast. I gotta get these.
You good, Joe? You taking notes too?
I got 2 pairs of Jordans, my KDs, my Kyrie Irvings. I'm doing all right, right?
You need a pair of Yeezys and a pair of Dunks.
All right. Well, I'll be waiting for them to show up.
That'll complete your rotation.
Is that going to be my MFLH Christmas bonus this year?
It might be. All right, let's get back to it.
You got one more, right?
I got two. I got two more. Two more. If you had to pick one movement for the rest of your life,
one movement that would just. Oh my gosh!
If you wanted to work out, you had to do this every time.
Every time, clean and jerk.
All right. Favorite song. Current favorite song.
I had a feeling music was gonna come up. I've been listening to some J. Cole, some like old J. Cole, lately. Oh my gosh. Current favorite song. I don't know. One that gets me fired up every time. I'm gonna put on Jack Harlow's SUVs. There's just something about his vibe, like something about his energy that I feel.
Yeah. That's a good track. It's a good track.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I got for you, my friend.
Love it.
You passed.
Well done.
I passed. Thank you, boys. I appreciate this.
Yeah. That's it, Matt. Good luck.
Thanks for your time,
2022 season. Awesome getting to chat with you and hang out a bit down in Miami. If you ever want to run away from Vegas, come on over to Miami. The water's warm.
Oh yeah.
You know, we can throw down, but stay where you're at. Like we were saying before the recording, get your home-fed meals and your training space you're comfortable with. So yeah, man, crush it. All right.
Yeah, man. Looking forward to seeing you out there this year.
You will. You definitely will.
All right.
We'll see you guys later. Thank you.
Later. Christian, Jiggy wants to know, how much caffeine do you usually have a day?
Ooh, that's a great question. I start off most mornings with an espresso. It's a double. So that's got to be about 180 milligrams of caffeine. And then when I get to the gym, I don't discriminate when it comes to caffeine. So I'll do some sort of energy drink, whether that's like a C4 or a Bang or something unhealthy like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I only have about half of it. So I'm about 300 milligrams of caffeine per day.
All right, well, get up to 400.
Especially on workout days.
Get up to 400 because you got one more episode to go after this, all right?
Well, I haven't had any pre-workout today.
You haven't any pre-pre? All right, well, I don't know. Text Matt. Maybe he can send you some over. Bye.
Later.
All right. It was fun hanging out with the tall dudes. Matt Dlugos, Christian Harris. I'm Joe Roscoe, co-host of Move Fast Lift Heavy. Make sure you check out the website, movefastliftheavy.com. You can see all things training, train with Christian Harris, wear the brand, MFLH. You saw Matt rocking one of our tees in the background that you'll see here in a second once I log off. So, yeah, love for you to be a part of the crew. Follow Matt on the gram. His handle will be in the description of this episode. Make sure you cheer real hard and real loud for him this 2022 season. Later.